Morning, everyone. Did you guys do? We're going to start out with a short hymn sing. You guys are going to talk today, right? And we'll start with number 1017 in the Teal hymnal, I think called Building a New Way. We'll just do a short 1017, Building a New Way. Answering the Call of Love. Instead of the title there. Could you announce that again? 1014, Answering the Call of Love.
1014, Answering the Call of Love.
What's that?
1014 is standing on the side of
Yes.
I know, but now it's, but the composer is asking to change the title to Answering the Call of Love.
We're good.
New words.
It's what we do.
That's what we do.
Truth in our hearts is our God.
Good morning. And a special good morning to those Tar Heel fans out there. Welcome to the Community Church of Chapel Hill Unitarian Universalist. My name is Larry Ross, and I'm a member of the Worship Associates Ministry. I especially want to welcome any visitors or newcomers to our church and to call your attention to a special note for you. Welcome guests and newcomers on the back side of the order of service. I would also like to welcome those of you who are attending online, and to note that the lyrics to hymns may be found on the live stream screen, and a complete order of service is available on the link in the Sunday email and on the church website. Our minister is the Reverend Thom Belote. An in-person Sunday social will be held immediately following this service. This would be a good time to turn off or silence any cell phones during our service to maintain a worshipful experience. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you've arrived at this beloved place, you are welcome here. We have two announcements this morning, the annual pledge drive and the day of service. And Danvers and Augie Fleury. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Augie Fleury.
And I'm Danvers Fleury. As a young father, trying to raise two little boys to grow up to be good men in this society where violence and materialism and misogyny seem to be becoming more the rule than the exception, I was just so worried as to how I was going to do it. And it turns out that the answer was with this church.
I started coming here in about 3rd grade, and the two directors of religious education, Marion and Kat, are probably now the two closest adults in the world to me, besides my parents. Kat runs OWL, which is a program about maturing and finding out who you are as a person, which has helped me so much growing up and becoming independent. And Marion's someone who's taught me so much about treating people with compassion and respect and given me, all kinds of wisdom. As for role models, in Water and Fire Circle, Alan Reese was my idol. He would play games with me, talk to me, and treat me with respect even though I was a little kid. And now, I'm in high school. I have his old job, and the kids that I work with are my newest teachers of patience and the importance of processing emotions.
If you listen to the news these days, it might not take long to hear something that hurts because it's wrong. People losing their rights, their lives, tyranny. And sometimes it can feel like we need a miracle. Well, for our family, the miracle that we need has been this church, where every Sunday, people like Kat and Marion and Alan, and now my son, teach the children of this congregation that strength doesn't come from domination, it comes from service, and that their worth doesn't come from service, it's inherent for them and everybody else they know. So if you're looking for a template, a blueprint for healing our society, we feel like it's right here.
The community church means so much to our family. Thank you all for your generosity in supporting it.
Special Agent Hitchcock, Junior Agent King. We need updates on the Mission Possible Day of Service 2024.
The 2024 Day of Service will take place on March 2nd here at the Community Church. An inclement weather date is set for March 9th. All volunteer agents are invited for a Mission Possible breakfast before work begins, and again to debrief afterwards at a potluck lunch.
What's the day's purpose, Junior Agent King?
It is a chance for all church members to provide volunteer services to our greater community by using our loving hearts and our helping hands. Junior agents like myself are encouraged to attend as well as their superiors.
What do we know about the volunteer projects, Special Agent Hitchcock?
Well, the projects will be declassified on Sunday, February 11th, and will happen both at the church and at other locations throughout Chapel Hill. Early intelligence suggests there will be many great projects for those that enjoy outdoors, making crafts, sewing, and other clandestine operations.
And have you participated in one of these in the past, Junior Agent King?
As you are aware, we participated in undercover operations at the Wildflower Lane Farm when we cleaned up the crop beds, fixed fences, and I was given the charge of driving the recreational vehicle around the property, following strict driving protocols.
Are there any other updates to report, agents?
Volunteer agents should come with an appetite, as there will be much food and fellowship. Stay tuned for future agent communications.
All right, so thanks for the update, agents. We look forward to working hard to pull off this Mission Possible Day of Service. Don't forget to mark your calendars for March 2nd.
Okay, the opening hymn this morning is 1000 in your teal hymn book. And if you would rise, please, in body or spirit, 1000 morning has come. The responsive reading is number 568 in your gray hymnal, 568. Connections are made slowly. So if you would say the italicized words, connections are made slowly. Sometimes they grow underground. You cannot tell always by looking what is happening. More than half a tree is spread out in the soil under your feet. Penetrate quietly as the earthworm that blows no trumpet. Fight persistently as the creeper that brings down the tree. Spread like squash plant that overruns the garden. Gnaw in the dark and use the sun to make sugar. Yeah, real connections create real nodes, build real houses. Life, a life you can endure. Live a life you can endure. Make love that is loving. Keep tangling and interweaving and taking more in, a thicket and bramble wilderness to the outside, but to us interconnected with rabbit runs and burrows and lairs. Live as if you like yourself, and it may happen. Reach out, keep reaching out, and bringing in. This is how we are going to live for a long time, not always. For every gardener knows that after the digging, after the planting, after the long season of tending and growth, the harvest comes. Please join me in the words for the chalice lighting printed in your order of service. We are here to abet creation and to witness to it, to notice each other's beautiful face and complex nature, so that creation need not play to an empty house.
At this time, we are going to honor those who, within the past several months, have made the decision to become members of this church community. Each of the person whose names Rachel is about to read meets the requirements of membership in our church. They've taken the Exploring Membership class and understand the rights, responsibilities, and expectations of membership. New members, as Rachel calls your name, I invite you to please come up and join us here at the front of the sanctuary.
Lois Howlett, Al Howlett, Laura Doherty, Joyce Heflin, Nat Barron, Taryn Bonner, Trilce Marquez, Jason Schad, Thomas Stromberg, Ryan Schultz, and Jessica McKenzie.
On behalf of the Welcome Ministry, it is a joy to welcome you into this community of memory and hope. Each time we welcome a new member, we become something new. So we ask you, as our newest members, will you promise to walk together with us, sharing the joys and responsibilities of membership? If so, please say we will. Thank you. Members of the Community Church of Chapel Hill Unitarian Universalist, will you welcome these people into our congregation? Will you reach out to them in friendship, including them in our activities and fellowship? Will you be open to hear their unique gifts and perspectives? Will you extend a warm welcome to each of them, remembering that each of us was once a new member? If so, please say we will. We will.
Becoming a member of this church is an important first step, but it is only a first step. I charge you new members to grow in your faith. More importantly, I charge you to find and share your special gifts with us. Ours is a shared ministry. Each of us has a crucial role to play, and we need you. We need your energy, we need your ideas. As you give generously of yourselves, we all become richer.
Now what's going to happen is that Rachel is going to come and offer you a chalice pin, welcoming you into membership. Ellie and I will follow Rachel offering you an enthusiastic handshake of welcome. So please remain up front. We usually do this when there's like a big line, but so that once we've moved through the long line, the congregation might applaud for you. And here's where we normally say, now you may return to your seats, but since you're both already in the choir is going to come up for our offertory, and Larry will introduce the offertory this morning.
Freely we have received gifts that minister to our needs of body and spirit. Gladly we bring to our church and its wide concerns a portion of this bounty. If you wish to donate electronically, please point your camera at the QR code on the back of the order of service and tap the banner that appears. Otherwise, please go to the church website. Baskets are being sent through the congregation. We will now receive the morning offering.
Each week, we take time in our service to consider the joys and sorrows of the members of our community. If you have a significant personal joy or sorrow that you would like to share, please come down to either side, place a stone in the water, say your name in the microphone, and in a few words, and please no more than 1 or 2 lines, share your joy or sorrow with us. Let us enter into this time of tenderness now.
I'm Jane Proven. 2 losses this week of people from my life, very sad about. One is Bruce Egan, who's lived in this community for many years, and he lost his wife, Chris, way too young, some number of years back, and he died very suddenly this week, and it's a real loss to this community. The other is Sarah Keenan-Shunk, who was a mom of a kindergartner named Graham I had at Duke School, and Graham is now at Stanford University, and she was a super mom, a super musician, and a lovely person who fought ovarian cancer very bravely over the last number of years.
Hi, my name is Thom Belote, and I'm placing this stone on behalf of church member Barbara Dennis. Barbara suffered a stroke a couple of weeks ago, from which she is recovering. She's currently in a rehab facility. I also want to share with you that this Wednesday, February 7th, is Barbara's 90th birthday. And so if you need whether information about visiting or would like to send a card, let me know and I'll get you that information. But please keep Barbara in your heart.
Hi, I'm Eileen Riggin, and I have a great joy to share. My daughter gave birth to a son on December 29th and gave me the incredible gift of being present with her and for his birth. And all is well. Everybody's doing fine. His big sister is enamored, and it's great.
Hello, I'm Stacy. I'm new here with my family, and I have a sorrow. I had a coworker lose her baby at 37 weeks. It's her first baby, and she's just so heartbroken and lost.
And so I just ask for your prayers and support and energy when we welcome her back to work. Because we work at a hospital, and so the transition to come back where she had to deliver that baby is going to be really hard. So any thoughts and prayers and energy my way to help her as she transitions back.
Good morning, I'm Jenny Mornesh. I came with two things I wanted to share, but I have to add a great joy to what Danvers and Augie said about Alan. You both made me cry. I think he's really awesome too. Mary Collins, I saw her again yesterday, and from when I saw her the end of December to the middle of January to yesterday was amazing. She's doing so well. She's breathing on her own. Now and she's using her hands again. Now she needs to learn how to walk again. And so lots of rehab for that. And my uncle had a small stroke, which it sounds like that means a TIA. It's kind of unclear, but that just happened on Friday night. So any thoughts to send his way also? Thank you.
A final stone for any joys or sorrows that were not spoken today but are no less real. Let us hold in our hearts loss of family, friends, loved ones, those that are way too young, illness, and also new life, and birthdays, and milestone birthdays. Spirit of life, we ask you to hold us in your light and in your love during this time of conflict and injustice. Let us recommit ourselves to compassion and generosity. We are blessed to be members of a community that loves and supports. Let us feel that love and support around us today. Let us hold ourselves and each other in kindness and in love as we go forward into this week. And let us take just a moment to hold all of that together. Amen.
I invite you to join us in our sung meditation. It is number 123, Spirit of Life, and we will remain seated as we sing.
To
So, one of the required steps in our denomination and many denominations for people who want to become ministers is the completion of a unit of clinical pastoral education, or CPE. This is going to go somewhere, I promise. So typically, clinical pastoral education, CPE, is done as a chaplaincy internship in a hospital, and it typically lasts 3 months if you do it full-time, or around a year if done part-time. And it's a common occurrence for aspiring ministers to do clinical pastoral education and fall in love with chaplaincy. That's what happened to our own Sarah Gush Tolfrey, now Reverend Sarah Gush Tolfrey, who came out of our church, went to seminary, and fell in love with chaplaincy and now works as a chaplain. This is what happened to our own Sarah Clark Farnell, a member of our church, who felt called to chaplaincy and has had that calling affirmed through her clinical pastoral education experiences. And this is what happened to Jen Kapranoff, our intern minister, who found chaplaincy to be a powerful and very positive and moving experience, right? Okay, good. So Thom, you might ask, did you also fall in love with chaplaincy? Not at all. I hated it. It's going somewhere, I promise. Now, please don't get me wrong. It wasn't that I disliked visiting people in the hospital, and it wasn't that I couldn't handle being present to pain, suffering, grief, death, all of those powerful and tragic things that one encounters while working in a hospital. Rather, I disliked chaplaincy so much because of what was missing. As a chaplain, I often saw people, for those 3 months, I saw people on the absolute worst days of their lives. And what I missed was also getting to see people on their best days and getting to see them on all those other days that are neither especially terrible nor especially wonderful. Another way of saying is what I missed was connection. Deep connection, the type of connection that's only possible when you see someone on their good days and on their bad days, and especially on all those in-between days that are neither their best nor their worst. The connection that I wanted with those patients and the connection I wanted to minister out of was a deeper connection than was possible than spending a half hour in their lives, in that half an hour where my life and their life would intersect. I wanted a deeper connection. I imagined how much more powerful those visits would have been if I had known that person I was visiting, if I had known that person for years. And perhaps selfishly, I longed to know what became of those patients, those people, those families I met after. Where were they in a month, or a year, or a decade? Connections are made slowly, writes the poet. Sometimes they grow underground. You cannot always tell by looking what is happening. My sermon this morning is another sermon about connection, another one. This morning also represents a kind of turning point. So far this year, since I began preaching on connection in August, I've talked about a lot of the different challenging types of disconnection that we face, whether in our own lives or in our families or our relationships or our larger society. But this morning represents a different type of message, really a celebration of the connections that are possible, that are uniquely possible within a church community. My original sermon title was after the title of the responsive reading by Marge Piercy, Connections Are Made Slowly. For every gardener, Piercy writes, knows that after the digging and after the planting and after the long season of tending and growth, the harvest comes. And that's really how it is with church community. There is a deepening that happens here, that is possible here, that happens slowly, week by week, year by year, decade by decade. We are about those long seasons of tending and growth. We know it if we think about it. How the newborn plays the role of baby Jesus in the Christmas pageant. Then, a few years later, a sheep, and then an angel. And after years pass, they are the teenager playing Mary, trying to hold the fussing baby that was once them. You get to know an elementary school child through the Special Buddies program, and then you blink, and they're giving their coming-of-age credo. And then you blink again, and you're invited to their college graduation. You get to know people, and you get to be known through the stages of life. When relationships form and when they fail, when careers are launched and concluded, times of passionate activity, and times of stillness and presence and rest. There's a depth there. As the poet says, weave real connections, create real nodes, build real houses, keep tangling and interweaving and taking more in, a thicket bramble wilderness to the outside. But to us, interconnected with rabbit runs and burrows and lairs. That's why hospital chaplaincy wasn't for me. I wanted a lot more tangling and interweaving. And I found that in church. Another digression, and this too is going somewhere, I promise. So sometimes during sermons, I sometimes like to bring up the gym that I go to. And sometimes I bring up the gym that I go to during completely unrelated conversations too. You've heard that. This is going somewhere, I promise. So there is this one coach at my gym who I've grown to really like. And this coach has this line that he says to different people. It's a simple line, 3 words. I see you. I see you, Michael. I see you, Miranda. And occasionally, every once in a while, I see you, Thom. Sometimes he calls it out during the class. Sometimes he says it to you kind of more subtly in passing. And when he says it, it's not because you've just lifted the heaviest weight or finished the workout with the fastest time. It's not like he sees the winners. And I should also say that when he says it, it's not like creepy. It's not like I'm watching you or I've got my eye on you or shape up. It's not a threat. No, these words are something that he says to you when you've made progress on something that was a struggle for you, when you are pushing yourself beyond what you thought was possible for you. And so here's the thing, when he says that he sees me, he is saying much more than, I just saw that thing that you did. He's actually saying, I saw where you started, and I saw the progress and the work and the commitment that it's taken to get to this point, and I see the payoff, the fruits of your efforts. It's actually a see over a period of time. It's a see over a duration. We're here to abet creation and to witness to it, writes Annie Dillard, to notice each other's beautiful face and complex nature so that creation need not play to an empty house. Or if I can be so bold as to riff on Annie Dillard, we're here to abet transformation and to witness it, to notice each other's beautiful journeys and complex stories so that our lives need not play to an empty house. The sermon title that I wound up settling on this morning is actually turned out kind of awkward. I actually thought of a better sermon title after the order of service went to press, so the one that I picked is called On Making a Scene. That's S-E-E-N, not scene, S-C-E-N-E. Scene, like we see each other, not seen like we're performing something for a short time together. And of course, it's not all or even mostly me. We see one another, we witness each other. We see each other's stories. We see each other's journeys. We see each other's devotion and service. And we see each other's struggle and pain. Those are the connections, the real connections that we make in church community. We are witnesses to each other's lives. The sermon title I wish I had come up with, I actually came up yesterday, was Can I Get a Witness? Which would have been a much better than On Making a Scene, but oh well. I see you. Yeah. And that's right, that's how it is here in community, right? It's when it is something that we are in over time. We see each other, we witness each other. We witness not only that act of service, that role in community, that being here, that recovering from an illness, but we witness the journey. We witness how it began and how it's gone and how it is now and how it will be. Beloved congregants, as we enter into the month of February, we are kicking off this year's annual pledge drive. And I want to apologize to all visitors who say, this is like the one Sunday a year where I do this, so don't be like, oh my goodness, I showed up for church and it was the pledge drive service. And also, please don't head for the exits, especially since I think Bonnie's actually back there. And so if you actually try to leave, you're gonna run into her, so that's a joke. So I want to talk to you just a little bit about this. This is my 10th annual pledge drive with you as a church community. 10. How did that happen? Every year, I've come to you with pretty much the same message, which is that if two things happen, first, if everyone who's a part of the church community makes a pledge, and second, if those pledges are generous according to our ability, if those two things happen, we will have enough to fund and fully fund and adequately fund the operations and programs of this church community in the coming year. And for the last 10 consecutive years, that is exactly what's happened every single year. Year after year, you have responded to the pledge drive with amazing generosity. Year after year, we've been able to fully fund our programs. Year after year, we've been able to give our staff cost of living increases, sometimes even grow their positions and sometimes raises. Year after year, we've been able to take care of our building and even upgrade our facilities. And we've been able to do this year after year after year without even once having to come back to you and beg for more, or twist an arm, or put the squeeze on anybody, or threaten with program cuts, or threaten staff layoffs, and without having to resort to unsustainable emergency measures like drawing down our reserves or borrowing against our endowment. every single year we've been able to do it. And that is inspiring, and it is rare, and it is uncommon. And that generosity is amazing, and you should give yourselves a round of applause for it. Because it is, yeah, Scott, why don't you lead us in clapping? Yeah. It is inspiring. I also want to be honest with you, and this is like I have actually written in my notes here, question, include this or not. But I'll go ahead. So if I was speaking slower, I would probably cut it. But so can I be, the other thing that I want to say, and I'm saying this not to disturb or depress you, but rather to be honest, is that the success that we've had as a church would be inspiring in any context, but it is especially inspiring in this moment when a lot of congregations, a lot of religious institutions, and a lot of liberal religious institutions are struggling. When Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt was elected president of the Unitarian Universalist Association last June, she began her comments upon being elected president by announcing that we are experiencing a crisis in the parish. A crisis in the parish was how she said the time that we're in. The hallmarks of that crisis were a steady decline in church membership, a decline in attendance, a precipitous drop in children and youth participation, budget deficits, an exodus of religious professionals. Bonnie's probably back there frowning at me because fear is a lousy motivator, and it's not my goal to motivate with fear. My point is that even with these headwinds, which are real, we're thriving and bucking the trends and managing to do church in a robust way. So as we move into the pledge drive this year, I want to let you know a couple of things. First, there are things that are just becoming more expensive in life right now. Health insurance premiums are going up. The cost of insuring our building is going up. The cost of utilities is going up. These aren't exciting, sparkly things to talk about, but they are essential. So as you give this year, if you are in a position to increase your giving, to give a little more, that will go a long way. But my message to you is still very much the same. That is that if everyone who is a part of this church community makes a pledge, and if those pledges are generous according to our ability, we will have enough to fully support a thriving congregation in the year ahead. Connections are made slowly. There is a connectedness, a meaning that we create here through years of knowing each other, witnessing each other, seeing ourselves on good days and bad days and all those many, many days in between. Every gardener knows that after the digging, after the planting, after the long season of tending and growth, the harvest comes. And our life together in this community is a feast. I see you. We see each other. We see each other's successes and triumphs, each other's risk and courage, each other's devotion and service, each other's sorrow and struggle. And I see you, and I love this ministry with you way more than I loved hospital chaplaincy. Amen. Blessed be. And let us end in singing our closing hymn of the morning. It is "We Would Be One." And I invite you to rise in body or in spirit as we sing together.
Please join me in the words to extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Let's please thank those who've made this service possible. And now would you join hands or place your hands over your heart as we sing the closing song, Shalom. Shalom, my friend, shalom, my friend, shalom, shalom. We'll meet again, we'll meet again. Shalom, shalom.